Well, as I was working on this project, I had so many ideas, and one of the biggest, I think, the most fundamental idea I had was creating an immersive version of soundscape of being performed live, but just for shits and giggles. So today, I'm going to be showing you how we can transform all of this in surround sound experience at scales, regardless of what environment you're. We're going to be using two programs that are free to download. That's the L-isa controller and the L-isa processor. A little bit about L-isa. L-isa is it's an environment that allows you to create your music projects, especially for performances, in a manner that scales while retaining the surround sound immersive experience. So whether you're in a studio or you're in a stadium, the environment, the surround sound environment you've created does not change. It remains the same. That's what you're going to do. So a few things you're going to have to change. Go to our audio driver. Just use whatever audio driver you use. For me, use as you, and sure you have, once you've downloaded Elisa processor and Elisa controller, this will show up Elisa audio bridge. Click that. Output configuration. Just have really want two of my sources, two of my sound channels, at least two of my sound sources to be, two of my audio tracks rather, to be in stereo. So you have mono outputs and you have mono stereo outputs. Yeah, so we're good. The next thing is samples. Elisa Audio Bridge automatically changes it to 512 samples. That's fine. You can change it when if your system gives you issues. Once that's done, I want to have first audio track, which is the only the drums. Everything here is just drums. I want this to be sending to 1 and 2, not 1 or 2. So you have your external audio effect. This just routes audio, which is what you want to do. You want the first one to be in stereo. And we have this 2/3. Sorry, 3/4. So we want this to be in mono, which represents all of it. But this to be in stereo. So the reason why this is important comes out later. So I'm going to open the processor first. Controller next. Do you have a sales show, which I'm going to show you what. So have our sources. So sources represents the channels of audio. So remember this was 1 2 1 2. So it says this is 3/4, then this is 5/6, but I said you're going to use 1 because the sound is in mono. So we'll just use 5. So it's 1 2 3 4 5. So as you can see, it's like 1 2 then 5, which corresponds to this. Yeah. So they're automatically routed. How you set this up is, so you come to your processors and it's going to show up like this to connect. Mine is connected to Wi-Fi, so it's the same network. Come to speakers, how you select speaker. So this would represent what you're going to see in the. But then here comes soundscape. So things around, you see values of sources. So remember 1 2 was the drum. A 5 is a sound effect. So for this sound effect, it's alarm crash. So it's an instantaneous thing. Just does that. So you can place it in. But you'll see an example of like the punches I was showing you in this video, because I'm going to trigger them, and he's moving all about the stage as he's being punched. He's not staying in one position. He's being tossed around. So we're going to have I'm going to try and have that feeling. So imagine this is like number 6 or sorry 7 in monosource 7. So we're going to give it an effect where it's banned. You can see it's moving by itself. So when it hits it, all these speakers that are where it's located produce sound. So it's going to feel as if the sound is coming from many different speakers. The sound is moving all around you in space. So it's much more immersive. Let's just see. As you can see, drums 1 and 2 is working, ambient is as you can see, our faders are moving up. So one thing I like to do with this is test out how wide I can go with that. So, couple of things I wanted to mention. That distance attenuation. So this selects the characteristics of the sound source based on how you've put it in the soundscape. I usually want to get this right first, know where everything is going to be placed in the room. Then I can think about this stuff, because these are drums and they're really close to front, left, and right. I want this to have no distance. So drums don't want any level. I don't want you to mess with the level or the high frequencies, because what happens when sounds are farther away from you is the high frequency changes, so it becomes more low passed. I want to still maintain the reference, the differences in levels between the drums and the ambient to remain. This could change for maybe we had the non-sound effect that we have. That's this, which I never mentioned. This is it's like birds chirping. It's an environment ambient. So for this, I would probably even put it in its own track. And then when I come here, let's say this is track. So this is 5, 7. Let's say that's 9. List it way back and very wide. I would say yes, I want the gain to be affected. This is the reverb. You can change these things, especially if you're changing rooms. Like if you're going to a larger room, I don't think you may want to not have the late reflections because they'll already be there, but you may want to have the large rooms feel like a small room, so you let me have the early reflections, and you can design them for the sounds, the specific sounds you have. So if you're going to do a rehearsal in space, you can have all of this fine tuned on that day and work on the delay mode, especially for the speakers. I wanted to show you the reverb where you design the space. You know, a space comprises how sound in a space is based on the reverb. So you can design your own reverb, or you can have reverbs that are already like presets that are already there from L-acoustics, which is very nice to work. You can have the EQ of the reverb, the time delay, the early reflections, the cluster, the late reflections. You can design all of this. You can also create from the presets. There's a dry, there's a theater, so forth. So regardless of whether the space is large or small, you can be able to change the characteristics and have the reverb remain the same, so the sound's the same, regardless of the space you're in. That's it. One thing I would urge you to do is to have this in a way where you're not messing to sound characteristics, especially for theater. You don't want to draw attention to sound itself. You want the characters to draw attention to themselves, not the sound. The sound is just accompanying. Just want to be creative about it. Yeah. If you want more videos on Elisa, one more on maybe performances and setting up your workflow to work with performances, let me know. I'll be able to do that. Thank you. Have a nice one and see you in the next video.